Hello dear students, I welcome you in this lecture, part 2. As you can see behind me, the syllabus which I am actually taking right now is related with your 10th standard SS syllabus, and the lesson is 8, natural resources. If we talk about the resources, everywhere we find the resources, and I have also discussed in my previous lecture that natural resources are the resources which are empowering us internally with the economical growth, externally with the worldwide trading business also, and somehow we can say that they are also helping us to improve well in the infrastructure level, in the field agriculture, in the energy science, and many more things too here. So if you take today the planning and conservation, that is the first topic of today's, because other rest of the topics I have explained you in my previous lecture. If you have seen that video, you might be very much sure about that what are the examples, what are the coincidences, and what are the chances of the resources that can be generated in the future. Everything I have discussed in that previous lecture. Let's focus on the planning and resources conversations. Why we need to conserve the resources? Just because we are having these resources not in a large amount of the abundancy. Yes, they are available, but in a limited amount, or somehow in the amount which can be exhausted after some time, which can be extinct after some time, on the verge time. So therefore, the first thing is that human needs are unlimited, they can be fulfilled. I'm explaining you on the page number 60, so that you need to understand. Now you can browse your book and you can go on the page number 60, lesson number 8 of SS 10th standard syllabus textbook. Human needs are unlimited while the reasons are limited. Reasons are limited means you somehow need all the reasons to get everything here, but sometimes your reasons are also unlimited. And if I go more further, resources are also somehow limited. Like if you talk about petroleum, if you talk about the mineral oil, crude, they are not in the amount like we can obtain them for the eternity. So in this case, we need to take some precautive actions, in which precautions should be taken out, alternatives should be taken out to preserve them, so that our upcoming generation should enjoy these kinds of resources, and not only enjoy, they can make the world far better what we are living right now in this time today. So the textbook says that severe implications will have to be experienced in the future if the technology is not controlling, and there will be a serious thought demand in the matter of any resources. Means there will be a serious change coming in this world, and this serious change will be related with the drasticity of the world, where the world can be going to the extinct on the verge, or it may be somehow vanishing also. After the destruction, as you know that we have disturbed whole of the ecosystem, we have disturbed whole of the biosphere by generating lots of poisonous gases. If we talk about monoxide, related to carbon, then dioxide, and many more things are there. Halocarbon is there, chlorofluorocarbon is there, and many more other gases are there which are somehow penetrating our ozone layer also. So it is the duty of our own to conserve the resource for the future generation, and resource should be conserved, it should be used rationally. Therefore, the word conservation is directly related to the scarcity of the resources too here. If there is a scarcity, we need to conserve that resource. Without the resource conservation, there you will find only the scarcity, and scarcity will lead one day to just vanish this world very soon enough. So we need to conserve it out here. Now development should be also made. If we talk about the current lifestyle, we need to develop the resource in the current lifestyle. We need to develop the alternative of these resources, and the zone or the resources which are exploited haphazardly, it means riskfully. The resources which are not used, they are somehow wasted, should be also having some control over them, so that any disaster cannot be coming place, or any haphazard view of the motion should be also not occurring here. So if I talk about rational and irrational, there are resources which we need to understand, use rationally. Rationally means that you need to somehow plan that. What is your demand? How much quantity? When? Why? With what? You all need to answer your queries. Then only you use any resource. Because you use the resource for yourself, but actually you are a part of this whole world, this whole ecosystem, and you are also trying to disturb these resources by distributing them unequal or by using them haphazardly. So it is including the things like rational use in the conversation, in the conservation use, and also reuse of the resources. How, when, why, in which condition, which resources can be reused, that should be somehow followed inside a chart, and they should be taken well care so that in future they can be reused out. Now if you talk about the demand, when there is danger of the existence of the life, national uses or the conservative resources are somehow kept on the direction where they can be saved out, because it's the national demand. The existence of life can be somehow in the danger if you cut the trees generally, or a human life can be also in danger in the future while we don't get your when we will not get our oxygen and will not get the fresh air also. So we can say that radicals will be somehow improved, not improved, radicals, free radicals somehow can be built up due to lack of the oxygen also in the body, lack of the hydrogen, water. Okay, so we need to protect these kinds of resources. So let's understand the four basic topic about the resources conservation. As I have made here an arrow chart, this defines you the steps which is taken here. Let me make you understand. First of all, we need to gather the information. Then we need to know that what is its availability. Is it available in the abundance of the amount or not? Then availability should be checked out. Sparingly use, it means that if that resources are very less amount, we need to use them sparingly. Apart from that, attempts should be made to save for that future generation or the future upcoming era. And last but not the least, necessary laws should be made out. Why? Because if you are using resources, you need to have fear about the resource, that they are also not like the ocean water and they will not finish. They are not for the eternity. There should be a fear of the government while distributing the resource in an inadequate amount or in an abundance amount, in a wastage amount, or internally towards the black marketing too here. So these are the basic things which I am actually trying to explain you, and here the main thing which is coming, which is generated from this all, or you can say which is the first step from this among this all, that is public awareness. See my dear students, if there is no public awareness, all the formulas are zero. They all are zero. Why? Because if the public is not aware about the resources, public is not thinking about the goodness of the resources, whatever formula, whatever laws you are making, they will not obey it. Everything will become like zero. So first of all, we need to gather the information. Then second of all, we should know that which resources are renewable, non-renewable, or limited, or exploited. Okay, so we need to take protection against that kind of resources also, or we need to use rationally. Then apart from that, the resources which are limited or non-renewable resources should not be exploited, and if they are exploited, they should be used this kinds of attempts only. They should be used by this kinds of attempts only, and they should be used for the scientific purpose only, like the solarity resources, the resources which are very less available in the world. Attempts should be made to protect them, progress them, promote them, and also to start the alternatives. And apart from that, the resources which are cheaper and easier available here and there in the amount should not be wasted, because if it is wasted, always it will hurt us in the future, or it will affect us in the future. Either it will affect economically, or it will affect we can say like power, energy level, on the economy level, energy level, or any kind of level. So we need to take care of that here. Apart from that, if we go more, then it also says that resources, those which are limited in the quantity, should be conserved, and we should find the alternative for that. Without finding alternative, it's not possible to make their use in the future because they will be nowhere available. Citizens should be well acquainted with all the facts about the life and lifestyle living, then resources conservation, awareness about that, rules, regulations. Okay, so we should need to take ourselves on that level where we need to educate us in the use of resources. So this is the basic example of the resources. Now the next topic is the soil formation. Denudation of the rocks is a very slow process. Sometime it may be taking the place around 50 years, 60 years, 70 years, or depending on the fertility of the soil, it can be going for the 100-year too. But from where does the soil is formed? That is a question. So we can say it is actually formed from the parental rocks. Now, what is a parental rock? If I generally say to you, parental rocks means the rocks which are actually reasoned to explode themselves or to break themselves during many years time and transform them into the soil is known as parental rocks. So students, now I'm going to teach you about the formation of the soil, how the soil is formed or how it is somehow manufactured naturally. So here, generally, the part of the surface of the earth wherein the vegetation grows is also known as the soil. And the soil is the thin layer composed with the various elements of the surface. As you know that when we build our house, we actually use the upper layer of the crust, which is over the mantle and very far away from the crust. So, core, not the crust. Crust is the topmost layer of the earth. So apart from that, if you talk about the soil is a thin layer, it consists of humus, minerals, some substance, humidity, okay, and other gases mixed inside that. And if you talk about the parental rocks, they lie below the soil. Under the soil they lie. So temperature affects, pressure affect, then we can say that water cycle effect on that, many things affect on that. Geothermal energy effects on that. So after that we can talk about that parental rocks are somehow the rocks which are denuded biotically from the biotic remains, and it is also made from the biotic remains only. So humidity and the air gets mixed up with it, and in the other words we can say soil is a natural mixture of the minerals, biotic elements which have exactly capacity to grow and develop the vegetation. So if you are thinking that the soil is produced directly from the crust of the earth, somehow you are wrong. It is produced indirectly. Indirectly means why? Because first of all the rock is formed and after that the soil is formed. So it is a long process, and this process is known as the soil formation. In the caption you can write in the bracket denudation formation, that is denudation of the rocks, where the parental rocks are responsible to form a soil or to form any ground related to the soil, fertile soil. So that is all the fact about the soil. And now if we'll move about the part of the soil, I would like to inform you that, or not inform you, just tell you some detail about that. We have 8 types of soil. Now these 8 types of soil are having their different features, categories and many more things. So the soil, if you talk about, they are divided into alluvial, okay, 8 parts: alluvial soil, red soil, black soil, then here laterite soil, desert soil, forest soil, marshallized peat soil, mountainous soil, and etc. So here, as I have said you, the soil is the uppermost part of the earth, means the crust is the uppermost part of the earth, and that is also the soil is somehow formed. So the uppermost part, the soil is the layer of the surface of the earth which is also mixed with the other gases, mineral, substance, compound, humus, humidity and dead body, decaying animals here, some microorganism too here, where the vegetation can be growing out. So the climatic impact is playing a major role in the soil formation, whether it is improvement of the soil, whether it is destruction of the soil, climatic change. Yes, of course, when the climate has changed for 30 to 35 years and there is scanty of rainfall, means there is no rainfall, obviously there are the 101% chances that the soil will be somehow becoming the barren land. That soilful land will become like a barren land. So we need to take care of that kind of soil too here. So my dear students, these rocks are having the region over a long time settling down to the earth, which they form and they break into the soil due to pressure and many more changes here, and also so the soil is formed out from the parental rocks, as I said you. Now different climate affect this soil differently, so everywhere the soil is different in the color, texture, use, productivity and its quality too here. Chemical reactions are also responsible for that. Which kind of chemical compound is present there or not, it is also responsible for these kinds of things here. So as I've said you, recently Indian Council of the Agriculture Research, that is ICAR, has declared that it has been dividing soil. They have declared that soil can be divided into 8 basic parts, as I have said you. Now if it asks me that which one is the best soil to grow the crops, I'll say most of they are best only from here. But if I talk about the alluvial soil, means the alluvial deposition is related with the best quality of the soil. Why? Because when the rock or the soil is lifted along with the river flow in a rift form, when the river is flowing from a high plinth of the zone to the ground level, the soil is somehow mixed in the water and it is coming down, losing all the bad substance, bad minerals and obtaining all the good minerals and that fertility too. And where the settles, that is also known as the delta zone of the alluvial deposition. So that kind of soil is very fertile, especially the states which are producing paddy, especially the states which are needing extra amount of water or extra amount of soil fertility. They are using this kinds of soil only. So means they are actually having this kinds of soils nearby their states, so they can grow the productivity according to their soil. Now Gujarat, if I talk about Gujarat, is having the black soil, most of that, where you can find the tobacco is grown, cotton is grown, corns are grown, millet is grown, okay, and many other things are grown here. Groundnuts, cashew nuts and many other things are grown here. So that is also related with the soil formation. So as I have said you, the types of soil, and if we move further, there are lots of things. If I talk about, there are lots of things which I can describe about the soil, but if you talk about the soil formation, we need to take the step by step, all the steps here. So as I have said you that 8 types of soils are there. This is the first topic of the soil related to the step. So today we'll learn about the alluvial soil. What is alluvial soil? Now I gave you the example, means you have already understood that what is alluvial soil, or you may have got the idea related to that. This type of soil is actually spread over about 43% of the area total covering of our India. So this soil is found in the northern plain from the Brahmaputra River. Now if I talk about the Brahmaputra River, it is only one of the river which is actually entering in India, as you have seen the geographical map, where it is starting from China in the name of Sangpo, meeting some of the nearing states and countries, also giving one flow to the Bangladesh, where it is known as Padma, and somehow it is entering in the India from the Namcha Barwa peak by taking the 90° of the turn from Assam and Arunachal to here. So that is Brahmaputra. Now Brahmaputra is having one of the very widest flow, not a longest but a widest flow. If you talk about the Indian zone, we cannot compare with Nile. River Nile is having 6,480 something kilometers long, and it is improving well. If you will do the Google, it will show you 6,800 and something kilometers. So that is the longest one, but according to the widest one, the broadest one, Brahmaputra comes in the rank here. So that is the general gyan from my side to you. So if you talk about 43% of the total India is covering here, and the soil which is found in the northern plain, if you talk about the northern plain, means north, east, west and south, the upper position from the Gujarat, if you go there, this soil can be easily obtained. It means that northern plain consists of Ganga plateaus. Yes, there is a hint. Ganga plateaus means most of the northern plains. See, as you know that Himalayan river system means somehow Himalayan river systems are always loaded with the water. Why? Because when there is heat, they will give the water by the melting of ice. When there is rain, obviously the water will come downside. When there is no heat, when there will be no rain, they will try, means that water will try to just friction by themselves and they will come downside. Means it will come downside, not they will come downside. So that's a general theory about the Himalayan river. And if we go more further, these rivers are helpful for the Ganga river flow to here, where the alluvial deposition is highly deposited there. So as I was telling you, some of the other rivers are also there. If you talk about the valley of the eastern part, where northern part Brahmaputra valley is also mixing here, so that is Satluj in the west, and in the delta zone Mahanadi is there, Godavari river is there, okay, and apart from that Krishna Kaveri is also there, which is forming an alluvial deposition too here in these kinds of lower plains, and sometimes they make the plateaus too. So here soil they are adding, and the most proportional of the potassium, then phosphoric acid, and somehow limestone or the lime is also present in this kinds of soil, which is somehow we can say that good in the amount. But if you talk about the nitrogen, so nitrogen and humus are somehow less in the amount in this kinds of soil. So the nitrogen and humus are less in the amount of the soil. Some grade of crops cannot be produced out, but most of grade of crops can be produced out. Like if you talk about wheat can be produced out, paddy can be produced out, and many more other fruits and vegetables can be also produced out here. So if I talk about the pulses, if the pulses is growing in this soil, then there are chances to generate the nitrogen, as you know that, to contain the sustainability of this nitrogen, and it can be stabilized to here. So the crops like wheat, paddy, sugarcane, jute, cotton, maize, as you know that maize, and oil seeds, etc., can be also grown in these kinds of soils. So on the page number 61 you can see the map or the figure which is describing all the types of soil formation, and furthermore you can calculate yourself, or you can also examine yourself that how, when, why it is somehow described well, or it is actually related with the zone wise, it is related with the area wise, and what are their uses, which kind of crops can be used out here. So this is general example of the soil, and if you go more further, then second topic which I will discuss in this lecture is the red soil. Now what is the red soil? The name itself may have given you the hint that this soil is red in the color. Now why it is red in the color, I'll explain you in this lecture between. It occupies actually 19%. Now 43%, don't forget my dear students, don't jumble yourself, okay, कि भाई 43, 19 किसमें किसमें था, don't do like this. 43 was for the alluvial soil, 19 is for the red soil. You need to remember this here. So it has total land area covering in the India, and it is spread from Tamil Nadu, if you talk about, in the peninsular plateau zone. As I have explained you, peninsular plateau, that is, if I take about the map of Gujarat here, the lower bottom is also known as the peninsular plateaus, okay, you can cover this zone. So that is like peninsular. So here such soil is found in the part of our land which is related to Rajasthan, and such soil is red in the color. If I talk about, they are having somehow presence of ferric oxide, and apart from there, and it also becomes yellow when we generally go down to the soil. Go down to the soil means when we are actually digging up the land. Lime, gravel and carbonate and other are somehow not found in this soil. If you are going to find, lime will be not there, carbonate or other substance or the chemical or the minerals will be not found in the soil. But if you go more there, then somehow there is a deficiency of lime, magnesium, okay, and somehow we can say that phosphate, nitrogen and potash in this soil. So crops, somehow selected crops are grown. Crops like millet is there, then crops like cotton, wheat, jowar, linseeds, groundnuts, potato, etc., can be grown in this kind of the soil, which is also known as the red soil. So I hope students this lecture is very easy for you, understandable, and also I am teaching you very slow in the speed so that you can understand my all the examples, data and theory too here. Furthermore, what you need to do, you can prepare this kinds of flow chart, arrow chart, and also you can write down this kinds of soil formation where you can learn easily, and don't make yourself to jumble with the percentage. So this lecture was till here only. I have taught you the part number, that is 2. Now we'll take this lecture more further in the part number 3. So you need to go for that. So till then you can keep revising and also keep practicing for the lesson which is natural resources. Till then you can take care.